Good morning. Welcome to KTHM e-learning center. I am Shweta Nandakumar Burhade, Department of Botany, KTHM College, Nashik. Today we are going to learn about the topic Introduction to Plant Kingdom, which belongs to credit first of your subject Plant Life and Utilization, Botany Theory paper first year BSc, semester first. So let us start with the plant kingdom. So what are characteristics of plant kingdom? So plant, it includes all chlorophyllous organisms. They are having cellulosic cell wall. So cell wall is composed of cellulose. Plant body ranges from microscopic structure to a giant tree. Microscopic structures such as few algae like Chlamydomonas and giant trees like pinus or mango tree, etc. So in high plants, plant body is very well differentiated into root, stem and leaves, while in lower plants, plant body is thalloid. So thalloid or thallus means plant body which is not differentiated into proper root, stem and leaves. Rather, they have root-like structure, stem-like structure or leaf-like structure or appendages. So lower plants are not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. So further, kingdom planting is divided into two divisions, cryptogams and phanerogams. So this division is based upon the characters such as mode of nutrition, plant body, whether it is thalloid or it is properly differentiated, reproduction, etc. So outline of classification is as follows. So we are going to just have a glance of this outline of classification. Later in this particular subject, we are going to discuss each group one by one. So kingdom plantae is divided into two divisions, cryptogams and phanerogams. So cryptogams are further divided into thallophytes, bryophytes and pteridophytes. So in thallophytes we are going to study algae, fungi and bacteria. In bryophytes we are going to study liverworts, hornworts and mosses or massa, you can say it is synonymous terminology it is. So pteridophytes, it includes xylophyta, lycophyta, sphenophyta and pterophyta. Other division which is phanerogams, it is also divided into two groups, gymnosperms and angiosperms. So angiosperms are further divided into dicotyledon plant and monocotyledon plant. So we are going to have a brief introduction to each terminology in next lecture. So what are cryptogams? So let us start with cryptogams. So cryptogams, it is a Greek word which means hidden reproduction. Reproduction is hidden. So these are actually lower plants. They do not have any flower, seeds or fruits. They reproduce vegetatively, asexually and sexually. Asexual reproduction takes place by forming spores or zoospores. Vegetative reproduction takes place by cell division or fragmentation, and sexual reproduction takes place by gametes, which are reproductive organs are simple, unicellular and non-jacketed. That is, they are not protected in any cover. Advanced cryptogams undergo alternation of generation, that they are having two phases of life, gametophytic generation and sporophytic generation. Gametophytic generation is haploid, which is having reproductive organ, and sporophytic generation is diploid, which is having spores. We are going to discuss it in detail further. So cryptogams include thallophytes, bryophytes and pteridophytes. So let us discuss thallophytes first. So what are thallophytes? In thallophytes, plant body is thalloid or plant body is thallus, which we have discussed already. Plant body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Okay, it includes algae, fungi, bacteria, lichen, pteridophytes and bryophytes. So in this particular semester, we are going to discuss algae, fungi, lichen and bryophyte. It is in the most accepted five kingdom system provided by Whitaker. Bacteria are placed in different kingdom called Monera And in the same way, fungi are also differentiated into the or excluded to the other kingdom. Why? Because they lack chlorophyll and they are heterotrophic. So fungi are also excluded from plant kingdom. But as Thallophytes includes algae, fungi and lichen and bryophyte, we are going to discuss that. So let us start from the first group of Thallophytes, which is algae. So algae are chlorophyllous organism, that is they are having chlorophyll. They are thalloid, that means they are not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. They have thallus plant body and they are mostly aquatic and green in color, you already know. So they occur in both fresh and marine water. Also they occur in diverse habitat like moist stone, damp soil, wood, wall, etc. You have observed different algae on moist stone, damp soil and wood. In our mother tongue we call it as a shewar. Okay. So the form and size and structure of algae varies from microscopic form, unicellular form to colonial form to filamentous giant forms. So they reproduce either by vegetative or asexual or sexual method. They reproduce asexually by forming spores. They reproduce vegetatively by fragmentation or cell division. And the sexual methods are isogamous, anisogamous and oogamous. So when we are going to discuss algae credit separately, we are going to have brief discussion on this particular reproduction types. So see, these are few examples of algae. This is nostoc, which is blue-green algae. It is actually microscopic, but colonial form is visible. If you go visit Angiosperm in rainy season, you can observe the small ball-like colonies of nostoc. So when you separate that colony, when you separate the different threads, so after separating threads, you observe under microscope and you can see structure like this, which is nostoc. We can synthesize biofertilizer from this nostoc as it fixes nitrogen. It is a very cheap biofertilizer of nostoc. So next is volvox colony. This is volvox colony. This is laminaria. This is microscopic fungi. It is visible to naked eye. This is a Bactriospermum. It looks like bead on a string. It is a very beautiful structure. This is microscopic image of Bactriospermum. This one is Polystyphonia. This is also a macroscopic structure visible to naked eye. So this is Sargassum, which is an marine algae. You can observe this Sargassum if you visit Konkan seashores. So next thallophyte is fungi. Fungi are usually multicellular and eukaryotic organisms which are heterotrophic. So as fungi lack chlorophyll, they are unable to produce their own food. So they are dependent on the other organisms for their nutrition. Obviously they are non-chlorophyllous. Plant body is simple, cellular or mycelial. Mycelia may be septate or aseptate. That is, mycelium may be divided into different septa, or it may be hollow, or we can say sinusoidal. Cells are generally eukaryotics with cell wall composed of chitin. If you remember in 12th standard you have used a stain which is cotton blue for fungi. You haven't used saffron for fungi. Why? Because it is not having cellulose in cell wall, it is having chitin in cell wall. So you have used the stain cotton blue for fungi. Fungi stores food in form of glycogen and oil drops. So fungi may be saprophytic or parasitic. Saprophytic, that is living on dead and decayed matter. Parasitic, which causes disease and which is not beneficial to other partner, that is it is pathogenic, causing disease. Again, this fungi thallophyte reproduce vegetatively, asexually and sexually. So but in case of fungi, asexual form of reproduction is more dominant than vegetative and sexual. So vegetatively it reproduces by forming fragmentation and cell division. Asexually it forms spores, and in sexual reproduction actually sex organs are reduced, or you can say absent. So let us see the photographs of few fungus. This is agaricus, or popularly known as mushroom. This is mucor. This is bread mold. You can observe this on your bread, chapatis, etc. So this is a pathogenic fungi, as we call parasitic fungi. This disease is called as black stain rust of wheat. This is a wheat plant, monocot plant, on which this fungus called Puccinia have infected to form a disease. This is also a disease causing fungus. These patches are of fungus. This is a leaf of plant, and these patches are disease caused by this alternaria. This is a popular fungus, penicillium. As you know, we have antibiotic produced out of the penicillium. So next is lichen. So lichen is actually a very interesting group of plant. Lichen is a symbiotic organism, or we can say composite organism, which emerges from algae living among filament of fungi, and it is a mutually beneficial relationship which we call symbiotic relationship. So symbiotic relationship in which both the partners are benefited. So what is lichen? Lichen composed of two different organisms, which is algae and fungi. So lichen is a union of algae and fungi. Also, lichen is a pollution indicator. If on any tree trunk or on a rock you see lichen, you can conclude that area as a pollution free area. So if there is too much pollution, you can't see a single lichen. So lichen is pollution indicator. So in this particular organism, algal and fungal members, they are living symbiotically, they are benefited to each other. So there are three types of lichen: crustose lichen, foliose lichen, and fruticose lichen. Asexual reproduction takes place by formation of soredia, which is a round mass which is surrounded by algal cell and fungal hyphae, and sexual reproduction is observed only in fungal members producing sexual pores and special organs grouped in a cup, which is called as apothecia. So it reproduces sexually and asexually. So these are examples. This one is crustose lichen. So this is very hard. You just can't remove it from the rock. They are so much attached to that particular rock or brick. So this is very hard. This is foliose lichen. So it is not that difficult to separate. You can separate this from the rock or tree trunk. This is fruticose lichen on the tree trunk. You can observe this lichen in pollution free area. So next group is bryophyte. So they are called as amphibians of plant kingdom. Okay, so bryophytes are amphibians of plant kingdom. Why? Because they were the first plant group which migrated to the land from water. That means bryophytes are the plant group or first plant group which came to land from water. So that is why they are called as amphibians. And also water is very essential for completion of their life cycles and their fertilization. They are commonly found in moist and shady places in rainy season. Plant body is again thalloid, which is not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Otherwise they have root-like structure called rhizoid and prostrate leafy structure with leafy appendages. So vascular tissues are completely absent. They are completely dependent upon the external water for their fertilization and their metabolism. Vascular tissues like xylem, phloem are completely absent. Mode of nutrition is autotrophic. They are chlorophyllous organisms. Plant life cycle shows alternation of generation, which is sporophytic generation and gametophytic generation. Sporophytic generation is diploid and gametophytic generation is haploid. So sporophytic generation produces spores and gametophytic generation produces sexual gametes or reproductive organs. So this plant body, gametophytic plant body develops multicellular sex organs, which is antheridium and archegonium. So these are few examples of algae. This is Rixia, Anthoceros. This Rixia and Anthoceros are, you can observe this on Anjaneri. Polytrichum, this is also, you can see on Alginary if you go climbing, Marcantia and Funaria. So next is pteridophyte. So this is actually a higher cryptogam. These are first plant which were having vascular tissues or vascular bundles. So they were having xylem and phloem, but xylem was without vessels and phloem was without companion cell. So they had vascular tissue, but they were not that developed. Okay. So they have more developed body than lower cryptogams, and they have well developed root, stem and leaves. Pteridophyte shows alternation in generation. Sporophytic phase is dominant and gametophytic phase is short-living and independent. So these are few examples of pteridophyte. This one is Lycopodium, this one is Selaginella. We have this plant in our botanical garden, Equisetum. Even we have this plant, Ophioglossum, very beautiful plant, Marsalia, which occurs in small ponds, and Pteridium. So next division of plant kingdom is phanerogam. So see, we have discussed cryptogams, one division of plant kingdom. Now phanerogams is second division of plant kingdom. So phanerogams, these are flowering plants which bearing seeds and also called as spermatophytes. So seeds are maybe naked or enclosed inside the fruits. Gymnosperm are having naked seeds and angiosperm are having enclosed seeds inside the fruit. Main plant body is sporophytic. Gametophytes are reduced and completes its life cycle on sporophyte. So that this means the plant body is diploid, and gametophytes such as reproductive organs, they are reduced, they are haploid, and they complete their life cycle on sporophyte. So plants are heterosporous. Heterosporous, that means they have two different types of spores like pollen grains and ovules. So they are having two different types of gametes. They are morphologically different. So phanerogams possess well-developed vascular tissue or vascular bundles which are xylem and phloem. They are xylem, phloem, cambium. They are well-developed. So phanerogams are further divided into gymnosperms and angiosperm. So let us discuss what are gymnosperms. So gymnosperms are spermatophytes with naked seeds. Gymnos, which means naked, sperms means seeds. Plants are woody shrubs or giant trees. Plants are heterosporous. Again, gametes are morphologically different. Vascular tissues are present, and plants are mainly wind pollinated, that is anemophilous. So pollen grains are dispersed via wind. So these are beautiful plant of Cycas and Pinus. We have this plant in our campus area, Cycas, and Pinus is very beautiful tree actually. So next is Angiosperm. This is extremely diverse group of vascular plants. We have actually infinite number of Angiosperm on this planet. They are actually most diverse group of plant. The size ranges from 1 mm to 100 meter. Plants are very well developed with flowers and they produce fruits. Seeds are included in fruits, or we can say ovules are protected inside the ovary integuments. Plant body is sporophytic. Which may be herb, shrub or tree. So division Angiosperm is further divided into two classes, dicotyledons and monocotyledons. So you can see the difference between monocots and dicots. So plant body is with adventitious root or fibrous root in monocot. In dicot you have taproots. So monocot states possess embryo with single cotyledon, dicots possess embryo with two cotyledons. In monocot, stem is generally unbranched. In dicot, stem is branched. In monocots, flowers are trimerous, that is they are having three different layers, or they are having perianth, that means flower is not properly differentiated into calyx and corolla. In dicots, we have pentamerous flower or tetramerous flower, that we have 4 to 5 different layers, and it is having distinct calyx and corolla, that is in dicotyledons we can separate calyx and corolla. So in monocots we have scattered vascular bundles which are conjoined, collateral and close. It is closed because there is no cambium. So what is cambium? Cambium is secondary growth. It forms a woody structure. So monocots, as you have observed, wheat, maize, they don't have any woody structure. Okay, why? Because they don't have cambium, and their vascular bundles are conjoined, collateral and close. So secondary growth is completely absent in monocots. In dicots, vascular bundles are arranged in ring which are conjoined, collateral and open. Why open? Because it is having cambium. So as it is having cambium, it is woody structure and secondary growth is present. So this is monocot plant example, which is maize, and this is dicot plant example, which is sunflower. So this was for today. This was identification or an introduction of outline of classification of plant kingdom. I hope you have understood everything. From next lecture onward, we are going to discuss each group like algae, fungi, lichen in detail. So we are going to study each group in detail from the next lecture. This was introductory lecture. For any further queries, you can contact me on Google Classroom. Also, I have provided my email ID. So contact me on Google Classroom if you have any queries. Thank you.